most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and this is the co-host with the most right next to me. He is back, folks. That's right. I'm talking about the one, the only, the Jive Turkey. How we doing, brother?
Let's go. Great to be back. Not 100%, but we're here. We're live. We're jiving. Great to see you, brother. It's been a few weeks, but it feels like an eternity, man. I was halfway around the world, was in España, I was in Spain with the wife, the better half there, enjoying the honeymoon activities. Still online, I was still in the chat. Still had a lot to cover here. But hey, man, the MMAnomaly, the show must go on. You kept it no filter. We had S-Dog as well filling in for me. Huge shout out to the boy and to all you boys and girls in there that was there, that are here now. Let us know if you're there. Shout us out. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Come on. Great to see you, brother. Let's go. Ready, baby.
Let's go. You heard the man. If you're new, if you're returning, if you're watching over on X, please do us a favor. It helps tremendously if you could just jump over to YouTube, hit the like, hit a comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. So that way you know when we're going live again, folks. And with that being said, we are here to break down UFC Vegas 100. This is just a fun card all around. It is the 100th, I say again, the 100th Apex card. So, just as, UFC Noche this year was Dana White's love letter to Mexico, I think this is going to be his love letter to a warehouse in the middle of the desert. We say to that. So we are going to go ahead and jump into this fight card. It feels like the most UFC Apex card I've ever seen in my entire life, folks. I mean that in good ways, and I also mean it in bad ways. Now, it does seem like the kind of fight night that they've put on in a warehouse in the desert here more often than not, as of late. And, the elephant in the room is it's been plagued by, fighters pulling out and getting hurt, as have the next upcoming cards, as we've seen in the news recently. But with that being said, the main fight that is switched up here is we were supposed to see Nicholas Danish Dynamite Dalby coming in against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, and that's not happening. Instead, we're getting Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos against Zachary Scoggins. Not really sure why Nicholas Dalby had to pull out, but he did. So it is what it is. It sucks. And then on top of that, in the main card, we also had a fight fall off there, I believe. Oh yeah, boy, did we.
Yes,
boy,
we did.
we. Oh, boy, did we.
Some love was lost here with Cody No Love.
Cody Gerber.
No.
Good old No Love. Coming in against Miles Chapo Johns. You got to think that guy's willing to take a fight against anybody as Miles Johns. But this was the biggest fight in his career. And now having Cody pull out, I'd probably wait for him. I'd probably wait for that because it's a favorable matchup for him. And he's catching Cody at the right time in his career, if we're being completely honest here and calling a spade, as we like to do on the No Filter Show. So let's not waste any time, folks. We're going to jump into the bottom fight of the night. Starting off the card, we have Melissa Dixon coming in against Claudia Segula. Nano, do you have a dog in this race? It's been so long. I'm going to let you take the lead, my guy.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Like you said here, we're taking a trip to the desert. We got a fight night, 100, but don't let it fool you. I think this is definitely a top heavy card, but we're starting at the bottom here. We're making our way to the top because I am excited about that bout. Sitting here in the favorite in the home field advantage, we got the England Melissa Mullins, 6-1 record. Coming in with a little bit more UFC experience. She is 1-1 in the octagon. So I am going to lean the betting favorite there at minus 250. And I'm going to assume she's going to find a way to get it done. Melissa, no mess. Mullins will find a way to use those 3 KOs out of her 6 wins, 50% clip. I think she'll use that to her advantage. But she's going to have a tough opponent in there. Claudia Segula. I'll be honest, haven't seen too much of her. She's 25 years young. I typically like my young fighters. You do know this, but I'm not going to go against Vegas on this one. I haven't seen enough from Claudia Segula. I think I need to see her prove it in the UFC octagon before I'm a believer. Although she is coming off a couple knockout wins. Again, these are both within the last couple years in divisions that are not in the UFC. So what is the caliber of opponents here? Again, we'll have to find out. She is 5'8". She's going to have an inch of a reach advantage, an inch of height advantage as well. Getting my sea legs under me here. Apologize. But no, man, all things considered, I'm going to go with the English woman here and double M, Melissa Mullins. Just a little more familiar with her. She has more experience in the UFC octagon. So setting the tone here, even though it's going to be a smaller crowd, it's not a pay-per-view like we're going to have next week. Still think that that pedigree is going to come to play here. So give me the Ben favorite, Melissa. But I can be talked out of it, brother. I don't know if you're going to go with the underdog, if you're, on the other side of the spectrum here, or if we're both in the same boat. Talk to me, man. What do we got?
Well, first and foremost, so glad to have you back, brother. I missed my guy. Let's give this guy a round of applause, folks. His hat says it the best, The boys. Let's fucking go, kid. And look, I'm not here to talk you off the ledge. I'm not here to talk you off the plank. If you're walking the plank, I'm walking it with you. And here's the deal. Brother. I digress. I made a mistake. I said Melissa Dixon. That's her former name. She's the latter, not the former. So it's Melissa Mullins, not Melissa Dixon. And that's my bad. That is definitely my bad. And as much as I usually love a dog, like Claudia Segula, whoa, down, boy. We're not going to do that today. All right, we're going with Melissa Mullins. I just think she's the more complete fighter, the more well-rounded fighter, and also there is a bit of a lack of knowledge here, right? Not as much tape on her opponent that's readily available to watch. So give me Melissa Mullins in this one, and we move forward into the next bout, which is between definitely some more exciting fighters, in my opinion, here. We got Tresean Gore coming in against Antonio Tricoli. Now, Tresean Gore, as you remember, is the fighter that came in hot off his season of The Ultimate Fighter. People were thinking that he was going to be the next big thing, possibly. And then instead, the Pooh Bear dropped the Pooh Bear and turned into the Butcher, and now we got Triple B that's just superseding him here, right? This is Tresean Gore's chance to really get back into the conversation of up-and-comer, of promising future star, right? He's not quite there yet. He only has 7 professional fights. He's 5-2. But I do think this is a great chance for him to come in there and prove himself against an Antonio Tricoli, who hasn't necessarily had the easiest run in the UFC, right? They scheduled him to fight Ikram Aliskerov, and when that guy had to pull out, they were like, oh, by the way, we're just going to go ahead and reschedule you next week against Sharbutin Magomed Sharipov. Or Magomedov. Yeah. The guy with one eye. The pirate. And Antonio Tricoli, he took that fight, which not necessarily the move, right? Considering he got outlanded 3-1 and he ended up ultimately getting finished in the 3rd round by him. So the young man has not had an easy go at it, but coming off of a fight against Shara Bullet and now fighting a Tresean Gore, you got to think this feels like a little bit of a step down for him and a little bit of an easier fight for him to go in there and actually have a feasibility to win. That being said, still taking Tresean Gore, man. I just think he's too strong. He should be able to land the bigger knockout shots, and I think he should be able to do it earlier. He doesn't really have the best gas tank in the world, but he does have really crazy big shots. So give me that kid. Give me that crazy kid. What do you got in this one, Nano?
I like it, brother. I like it. I'm going to have to agree with you here. We're hive minding to start off the undercard here for this UFC Fight Night here in Vegas in the Apex. But Tresean Gore, he is the main favorite. A little more acclimated with his game as well. 30 years old, 4-2 record, 1 KO, 2 subs, 1-2 in the UFC. But you mentioned a couple of those names, right? A Pooh Bear, absolute dog. I think that loss certainly aged like a fine wine. Woof, woof. And then we do got Cody Brennage as well, another knockout loss there, unfortunately, for our guy Tresean Gore. But he's one of those guys where he's winning the fight until he's not, right? I mean, he has that knockout capability. He has a tendency to push his opponents backwards. Mr. Vicious certainly earns that name. And I do think this is a matchup where he could go out there and get back on the right side of the winner's column there. He has all the skills, certainly someone you want to root for. And he's facing off against someone in a similar position that he once was, right? You're going up against nothing but tough opponents. Antonio Tricali's always going to answer the bell. He's a big boy. He's sitting at 6'5" for this division. He wears that size well. He's big. He tends to bully his opponents a little bit. Like you've seen against Ashara Bullet, he was pushing him backwards up against the fence, got him up against the clinch. He looked strong at times, but Shower Bullet, I mean, he's like John Wick with that thing. Once he gets the bullet on you, he's whipping it and coming from an angle you've never seen, and he's crazy, okay? We've learned he's built a little different now. So, not that that's to discredit Antonio Tricali's skill set. He is coming in here with a 12-4 record, 3 KOs, 5 submissions. But again, that L, to me, tells me that he has a lot to prove still. And again, that does leave room for a Tresean Gore, who is the Vegas favorite, to go out there and more likely than not put his lights out. However, we're going to see a calculated matchup until then. I think Antonio can potentially win a round or two, but Tresean Gore has that nuclear power, has that ace up his sleeve. And so I'm expecting some fireworks here for as long as it lasts. But give me Tresean Gore here as the Ben favorite as well. Let's go.
Love it. Love it when we hive mind like that, brother. And with that being said, we move into the next fight, which I'm even more excited about. It is Cody the Sparta Stamen coming in against Damon Blackshear. I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. I'm definitely stoked, and I keep going back and forth in my head about how this is gonna go.
I'm the same way, brother. I'm the same way. I'm excited to break this one down. It's two guys that we're very familiar with their game, and it's the perfect age-old expression of styles make fights. So is it going to be the grappler? Is it going to be the all-American Spartan wrestler? S-Dog, what up? Sterling, good to have you, brother. See you in the chat.
Back in town.
Bow-down, bow-down. Always, brother. Always a good time here when S-Dog's in the chat. Let us know where the other dogs are at.
And we appreciate
Woof,
you
woof.
filling in for Nano while he was out of town, brother. S-Dog
legendary.
is one of the biggest dogs in the fucking game right now, folks.
Hey, man, he's like James Harden, 6th man of the year out here way back in the OKC days. If you know, you know. Legendary performance. Appreciate ya. Water's always warm, brother. Always open to having you, and looking forward to more collaborations. I digress. Man, what a fight that we have here. Cody Stamen, the Spartan, going out here, 34 years old, 21-7 record, and one draw in there as well. 7 KOs, 2 subs. He goes out there and he dies on his shield, my brother. Cody's been doing this since 2017. That's 7 years now. About 2 fights a year on average. And he's lost some tough matches to some very tough guys. I mean, when you just look at the litany of individuals that this guy's been in the octagon with, we're talking about a Aljo Sterling back in the day. We're talking about a Yadong Song, okay? A Brian Kelleher. Jimmy Rivera. I mean, come on, need I remind you, the current champ right now, Murad Dvalishvili. There's even Nino Magomedov in there. Come on, ladies and gents. What more do you need to hear? Cody Stamen has been in there. Hasn't always beat them, but he's been in there, all right? He's always stood a fighter's chance, and he lives to tell the tale like a true Spartan warrior. But boy, does he have a tough opponent in front of him this upcoming Saturday, folks. He does have a Damon Blackshear, who really is the man, okay? This guy, absolute savage. He comes in with a skill set that is very unique. It's one of one, 30 years old, the monster. formerly known as. 14-7 record, 2 KOs, but 9 submission wins, ladies and gents. 9 of them. This guy knows how to get it done, but he's been stopped before, okay? I mean, we've seen our boy Yusuf Zalal draw out Damon Blackshear to a draw. He's faced off against a Farid Basharat. He lost, right? Mario Batista, some of that is ranked now. A Montel Jackson. All L's, right? So this guy, Damon Blackshear, some of that I do think is a submission threat away, is a one mistake away from getting it done. He is the Ben favorite. Man, I somehow talked myself into Cody Stamann. I think I talked myself into Cody Stamann here. I'm taking the underdog. This is a game time decision here, folks. I was on the fence like Humpty Dumpty once was. Not anymore. I'm going with the underdog. Give me Cody Stamann, the spot, and I just feel like he's seen it all. He's done it all. Ain't nothing that Damon's gonna throw out and that he hasn't seen before. Okay. With that being said, give me the wrestler to win by points in this gritty, cagey affair. We'll call it. Back to you, brother.
All right, good job, champ. Whoa, that was cool.
No joke. That was awesome that you talked yourself into the Spartan. And shout out S-Dog. He said, thank you, boys. Nothing but love. Is it time for a shot? And then he said, I'm ready when y'all say 3. Well, brother, I got the 3 printed on me. So let's go all fucking day, baby. Nano is under the weather, so he will not be doing a shot. I'm not gonna let him. Don't do it, sir. But you bet your ass when he's back, he will be back in full force. Until then, if you're drinking, you do a shot with us. If not, like Nano, drink your LaCroix, drink your water. Either way, we hope you're drinking something that makes you smile. Cheers, folks. Thanks for being here. And just a heads up, folks, definitely not Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi, in case you see like the white or silver can. It's the Pepsi soda shop with real sugar. It's fucking delicious.
Nice.
I'm a glutton for the bad stuff, you know? Speaking of being a glutton for the bad stuff, oh boy, the dogs bark in the backyard. And let me tell you, if Cody Stamann don't lose, he probably gonna win. Look, man, give me the dog in the fucking backyard in Cody Stamann. I like Damon Blackshear, right? Damon is a beast. He pulled off a twister, one of, I believe, 3 people, maybe 4 people in UFC history to ever do that. But I don't think he's going to get that done on Saturday, folks. Not over Cody the Spartan Stamann. Though you said he is willing to die on his shield. As Aragorn said at the end of Lord of the Rings, it is not this day, right? It's not going to be Saturday, folks. It ain't going to fucking happen. I like Cody Stamann here. I really, really do. I think I will probably put a little bit of a sprinkle on him. Because, why the fuck not? He's at plus 220 right now, which... Whew, those are juicy odds. Is it getting warm in here? Because my balls is hot. Folks, I'm liking those odds. Maybe I'm falling for the trap here. You put 1 unit on it, you get 3.2. I'm not gonna put a unit on it. That's crazy. But what I might do is put like a 1/5 of a unit on it, just for funsies. Maybe parlay it with one other fight here. Haven't quite decided on what that one's gonna be. But you bet your bottom dollar we're going to figure it out across the show. And moving into the next fight, I'm not going to sprinkle too much more on this. I will do a little bit of analytical breakdown before we move forward, actually. So, Damon Blackshear does always have the submission threat. Also, he offers a little bit of length here on the feet, right? He does have a little bit of a reach advantage, right? 72 inches against 64.5. Quite a bit of a fucking reach advantage. But this is typically the way that Damon comes into fights. He usually has a bit of a reach advantage. And Cody Stamann is a bit of a shorter guy for even the 135-pound division. The good thing about Cody Stamann being so short is he's a fucking wrestler, folks. And having that low sense of gravity is fantastic for when you are a wrestler, because when that happens, they just power double leg you and, they have you looking for your fucking grounding like, where are you? And I'm so sorry, you're gonna get wrestle fuck tonight. Damon might be able to throw up some submission attempts here, but I really think that Cody is going to be privy to them. I think he might be a little bit too slick and too adept with the game, right? As the kids say these days, I think he understands the assignment. So I think this is definitely going to go the distance. And if it does go the distance, Cody wins. If it's a finish, I do think Damon Blackshear is the guy to bet on. Maybe you hedge that bet with Damon inside the distance, but I think Cody is probably not the safer bet, because no bet is really safe in MMA. It's a very volatile fucking sport to bet on. Let's face it. But I like him here. And the fact that you're betting the older guy gives me a weird sense of confidence in this one. So that's my analytical side breakdown. We'll move into the next one. We have Matthew, the Jedi Semmelsberger, the Jedi Semi, coming in against Charles Radke. Now, this guy has arguably one of the best nicknames you'll ever hear in your entire life. Chuck Buffalo. I don't know what it means. He doesn't know what it means. The world doesn't know what it means, but it's provocative. It gets the people going. And that's what makes it great. That's what makes Chuck Buffalo great. No. Do you have a dog in this fight at all?
Man, I'm certainly rooting for both of them for different reasons. If I have to, because we are on the mic here, we're live, we got to make these decisions here. I can't just chuck and jive around it. I'm leaning the younger buck, or actually the older buck here. I apologize. I almost got chucked off this Buffalo. Give me the Chuck Buffalo. Charles Radke. There's just something about him, man. You know, and I think half of it is just my lack of confidence in Semi the Jedi. Someone I've had high hopes for since he got into the UFC, but he just has not met those expectations, unfortunately. I mean, you look at his last four. He lost, beat a Jake Matthews back in 22, but he lost to Jeremiah Wells, the Euros, the Dr. Medic, a double P Preston Parsons. It's tough, right? I mean, he's in must-win mode. Maybe the fact that he is a hungry junkyard dog at this point in his career. Dogs bark in the backyard, baby, as a wise man, Nate Landwehr, once said. Dog bark in the backyard, baby. And he is certainly a live dog, sitting at a plus 140 odds. I can't put my money there. I got to look at the Chuck Buffalo, his pedigree coming in. Also, coming off a loss, but let's look at who that loss was against, right? That was against the main attraction on Saturday night, Carlos Prates. So that's just fine. Okay, I think most people are losing to that guy most nights, so that's okay with me. Prior to that, 2 wins in the UFC, a long win streak prior to that as well. I think I like where the Chuck Buffalo's at this point in his career. I got to see more from the Jedi, man. Maybe this is going to be the motivation that he needs. Maybe this is going to be the one that gets him over the hump, but simply can't put my money there. So I got to go with the Chuck Buffalo. Hell of a name. Hell of a style when it comes to his wrestling, his striking, very accurate, puts it all together really well, durable. Again, he's a Chuck Buffalo for a reason. He's gonna chuck you around because he's a big old buffalo. So that's my interpretation of him. And I think Semi the Jedi needs a little bit more Jedi training. Needs to get back into the forces there, in the Force book. Get back to the student life. I digress. You're up, brother. What do you got for us? Are we in the same hive mind still? You're leaning the Chuck Buffalo?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I am. I'm leaning Chuck Buffalo here. Look, I think maybe Matthew, after the last handful of fights, the nickname Matthew the Padawan Semmelsberger might be more appropriate. He's not quite a Jedi yet. Definitely not a Jedi Master. But, I mean, if he is going to win this fight, I'll tell you one thing. He's going to have to use the Force, right? Charles Radke is someone that is a hell of a fucking baller, and he is a hell of a fighter. He's someone that is willing to go out there and truly go out on his shield. And I know we said that about the last guy, but I mean, this guy really, really goes out there and goes for broke in the first round every single fight. If you look at his resume, it's just the fucking truth. Gilbert Urbina, he got a first round knockout over in 4 minutes and 47 seconds. And then he got knocked out in 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Now, this is crazy. Okay? I don't know if you guys know this. He beat Gilbert Urbina, okay, in 4 minutes and 47 seconds exactly. And then his very next fight, he gets knocked out by Carlos Prates in how long? 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Come on. Like, you can't make that up. That's insanity, bro. So the MMA gods, like, they have a funny sense of humor. That's just a fact. And again, if you look at who he's lost to in the UFC, like he lost to fucking Carlos Prates. By the way, that guy's headlining this fucking card in this shack in the desert. So, yeah, give me the guy. Give me the guy, Charles Chuck Buffalo Radke. I think he's going to be an absolute menace in there. I think he's going to go for broke. And I think if you really want to bet on the other guy, don't do that. Don't be crazy. Okay. Instead, you could just take the under 2.5 because that's probably going to be fucking super, super solid of a bet, in my opinion. And Sav in the chat said, oh, snap. Nano's back. Yes, he is. Yes, he fucking is. The turkey himself.
Let's go. Back like
and she also noticed the nerd glasses. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
If it wouldn't get me evicted from the apartment, I would smoke a cigarette. Because that's what our guy does, the fighting nerd. I definitely don't. But that was a different man a long time ago. Okay, I could tell you stories about that guy. But I digress. It sounds like we're leaning the same guy. We both think Charles is going to go out there. You think he gets a finish out there pretty early?
Oh man, it's
Matthew's tough to put away, but
yeah,
he's a son of a bitch, man.
Yeah, plausible.
Sledgehammers for his. And S Dog, dude, you're absolutely right. We're 100% with you, man. We were barking in the backyard, as they say, when we heard that Cody isn't fighting this Saturday, and not in a good way, right? Angry fucking barks. Curious to hear your thoughts, S Dog and Sav. If you are his opponent, right? If you are Chapo, Miles Johns, do you take another fight on short notice against somebody else, or do you wait it out for Cody Garbrandt because that's the biggest fight you're going to get at this point in time? Let us know in the chat below, please. And we move forward to the next fight. We have Gaston Bayanos coming in against Cortavius Romeos. Which, can I just say, don't know if it's going to be the funnest fight to watch. I don't have as much skin in this fight as I do in a number of other fights on this card. But from a sheer saying their names standpoint, funnest fight on the card. Funnest fight on the entire card. Nano, what are your thoughts?
Well, definitely some fantastic names. I think Cortavius, and I got to look up his name because I'm pretty sure his nickname... I want to make sure I get this right.
Was that it? Was that his nickname?
The next best one. That's what it should be. The next best one. It's Cortavius. Are you not entertained, Romeos? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Is this your ruler? Is this your king? That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it fits his name. Cortavius, are you not entertained? Romeos certainly looks like he's chiseled out of marble and granite stone, this freaking Spartan-esque warrior-looking individual fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri. What can I say about him, man? Looks absolutely fantastic on the Dana White Contender Series, and prior to that, has proven a well-rounded game. 30 years old, so partially I think because I'm about to be 30 myself, hard to root against my fellow brethren there. At the Ben favorite as well. I think he's going to have a fun display of his skills. Going in against a great dance partner, a good opponent, Gaston Bolaños. He's tough as nails as well. So he's certainly going to have his work cut out for him. 7-4 record, though. That tells me that there's certainly some holes in the game of the Dream Killer. Find out a Dublin, California. I just noticed that. I feel bad going against him. It's in my neck of the woods as well. But when I look at his previous losses, most recently to a Marcus McGee, the spin and wheel kick there, brutal. My boy Marcus McGee, shout out. Fights out of Arizona. Love to have you on the pod. Man, all things considered, give me Cortavius. We will be entertained on Saturday night, Romeos. Are we hive minding still here, brother?
It would definitely seem so, my friend. Yeah. I mean, I like Cortavius. I mean, the nickname alone. I mean, as you said, the only other nickname that would possibly trump it would be. But I I digress. It's the next best thing. Are you not entertained? Is a fantastic nickname. You thought there was a soundbite, didn't you?
Oh, it's too good. Too good.
No, I really like this guy. And honestly, he has a one reach disadvantage here, but just his style, he's gritty. He's in your face. The pressure is forward. And I just don't know that Gaston's going to have an answer for him in there. Gaston's coming off of a very vicious knockout loss from Marcus McGee. And, you know, before then, like his biggest win was over Aaron Phillips, which was a grindy decision win at UFC Fight Night, Holloway versus Allen, if you remember that. Feels like a fever dream. That fight feels like it never even happened sometimes. But I digress. The Marcus McGee fight has aged incredibly well. Marcus McGee has been on quite the tear, let's be honest. But that's not to say that Gaston is going to come in here a very different fighter. I think he's going to have the same holes in his game, and I think Cortavius is going to look to really showcase and poke holes further into his game as a result. So give me Cortavius by probably vicious knockout late in the second round here. And we move forward into Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who is probably the sole reason that my significant other started training. So shout out to her for having just like a full-on 5-minute conversation with my significant other while we were at our first international fight week, while we were waiting to get to the next person on stage. Just a super down-to-earth lady. And she's coming in against Denise Gomes, who, I'll be completely honest, like she's good. She's good enough. But folks, I mean, Karolina Kowalkiewicz being a plus 390 underdog, are you people trying to make me rich? The last like 3 times you guys have made her an underdog, I've been extremely happy. So yeah, don't miss me with that bullshit. Come at me with that bullshit. I love it when you do dumb shit like this, Vegas. Plus 390? The disrespect. I'll say it in Brazilian for you for Denise Gomes. The disrespect. Come on, folks. Like, Sav saying I got Gomes easy. I mean, good for you, Sav. We usually agree, but you know what? Not today. Yeah, give me Karolina Kowalkiewicz here. And I'm not going to do none of that half unit or fifth of a unit. I'm putting a full unit on her today. I'm about to make a name for myself here. Look, give me that plus 390 juice, sir. Nano, who you got, brother?
I'm sorry, brother. I gotta have my girl Savs back here. I gotta. I was letting you have your moment. You're too fired up for me to come in too much guns blazing. I'll let it marinate there for a second, but Denise Gomes, she's a scary woman there, isn't she? She got some knockout power in those fisticuffs. That's just probably where I'll leave it, because Carolina, like you mentioned, certainly a inspiring figure in the game here. Let me just give her roses. 39 years young, decade-long warrior in the UFC. 10 years throwing these chingasos around. You gotta love it. 9-8 record accumulated in that time. I will say the big feather in the cap, she beat a Thug Rose back in the day. That is a hell of a feather in the cap, y'all. So the fact that she was able to do that.
Joanna numerous times.
She
went to decision.
Come on. She stretched her out, man. Well, let me pause.
No diddy.
All to say, Denise Gomes is a tough woman. She's been a dog since she entered since her Dana White Contender Series debut back in 2022. 4-2 record since then. But man, some of those finishes she has are just absolutely brutal. 24 years young. You know how I feel about those young fighters. She's almost 15 years the younger here. I think she has frankly just the heavy hands. I do think Denise is going to find a way to get it done. Sav, back me up here, and I do apologize. I've been out the game a little bit. I was on vacation. I think it's the jet lag, please. So just and it's the medicine I'm on. So I digress.
I do declare you are under oath. Look, man.
You like pool parties, man?
Do you like pool parties, man? You can go with whoever you want, brother. I know you like pool parties. That's fine.
Not Diddy, but yes, sir.
look, bro, look. She's got losses to Luma Lookbomi, Angela Hill, and a recent loss to Gigi Canuto in grappling. Like, I truly think that Carolina is going to go out there and impress us. I think not only that, but I think she's going to go out there and I don't even think it's going to be a decision. I think she's going to get her first finish since Felice Herrick. I think she gets I mean, maybe we need to click this after Saturday, but call me crazy. I think she goes out there and gets a rear naked choke. I'm calling the shot.
Call you crazy. Shit, at least you're calling. I mean, I hear you, brother.
I'm calling the shot. It's going to be an RNC, baby. Down with RNC. Yeah, you know me. It's going to happen, brother. I can feel it.
OPP. I'm going with DOG on this one.
Give
me Denise Gomes.
That's fine, okay? Look, folks, I know that we're two dudes, but we're not here to mansplain or give you mansers. But with that being said, the opening bout of the main card is between Mansour Abdul Malik. I know that's a terrible joke. I know. Mansers. Anyway, Mansour Abdul Malik coming in against Dusko Todorovic. This is an entertaining fight. This is an interesting fight. Mansour is 6-0 and seems to be a bit of a stud, right? But he just doesn't have enough experience for me to really confidently bet on. And most of his fights, actually all of his fights, are first round finishes. Even his one amateur bout was a first round finish. So, I'm sorry, the longest that he has fought is 3 minutes and 55 seconds into the second round. Meanwhile, Dusko Todorovic has been in the UFC for a little bit, right? He's fought a Maki Pitolo. He's fought a fucking Gregory Robocop Rodriguez. Oh, by the way, took him to decision. Didn't get finished. He's fought a Punahele Soriano. By the way, all three of those people I just named kill people. Like they're literal killers. They're knockout artists. He did get knocked out he didn't get knocked out. He knocked out Maki Pitolo in the very first round. He then went on to fight Chidi and Chukwani, who was another killer. He got elbowed into oblivion. You might remember that one. It was a good highlight reel. And then he went and fought Jordan Wright. Made him look more like Jordan Wrong because he got him done in the second round there, 3 minutes and 12 seconds in. And then not Leroy Jenkins, but Christian Leroy Duncan went out there and got the finish over him in the very first round. It was a kind of an abnormal finish. He got it done via injury, right? We saw Dusko's knee end up kind of popping a little bit. Pop, lock, and drop was kind of the term used. He popped, it locked, he dropped. It was bad. That was, again, sorry, terrible, fucking, just terrible jokes tonight. Now, again, I know Mansour is the guy to bet on here. He's 6-0. He's jumping into the UFC. He's a minus 485 fucking favorite. Which means I got to put a fifth of a unit on his opponent. Dusko Todorovic. A lot of people don't come back the same after a knee injury, but that's why we're only putting a fifth of a unit instead of a whole unit on it, folks. And besides, we're going to make more than enough to cover the spread for this week and the next 5 weeks on that one Karolina Kowalkiewicz win, folks. Am I right? Come on, give me those fucking plus 390 odds all day. Sorry, Sav. It's going to happen. Do your hear no evil thing. Because I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And maybe you're right. One day I might learn from you. But probably not. And you know what? Nato, do your breakdown. Cheers to that.
Salute.
Dusko.
Cheers to that, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, Mansour. I do want to elaborate on your joke there that his initials, Mansour Abdul Malik, MAM, in some dialects that could be Mam. Hey, Mam. So, Mam. Hey, Mam. But yeah, man, this is a fun fight. I do think that Mansour is certainly on the path to victory here. I think his opponent, Dusko Todorovic, at 30 years old. Todorovic. My apologies. Dusko Todorovic. 30 years old, 12-4 record, 8 KOs, 3 submissions, victories under his belt. That's very, very good. He did win his Dana White Contender Series debut back in 2019, but he's accumulated a 4-4 record since then. Just too much up and down for me. When I look at Mam, he's got a sweet KO in his Dana White Contender Series back in August. That debut, I like what I'm seeing from him, man. A little bit more excitement, and I do think the odds certainly suggest that they might be seeing something that I'm not. And again, I don't feel convicted enough about Dusko and his up and down career to feel that I can really, get behind that underdog. I'm not gonna, take that chariot horse to the finish line. I do think that our boy Mansour is gonna find a way to get it done. Keep the O. Doesn't know what it's like to lose yet. And Dusko, man, I mean, he's been in there with some tough guys, right? A Christian Leroy, Duncan, a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in Jukwani back in 2022, a RoboCop, a Punahele Soriano. I mean, these are big bad men. So I don't want to knock Dusko too much for those losses, but he brings shame to his family, and no, I'm just kidding. I do think that Mansour is just gonna find a way to get it done, unfortunately, for Dusko, and he might bring shame to his family. Might change his name. I don't know. Maybe family stay. Maybe family not stay. I don't know.
Maybe not.
maybe not. I don't know. That depends on you.
I tell you, we're going to see Saturday night, huh?
We're going to find out, aren't we?
I don't even know what accents we're doing right now.
I know it's a wannabe. I don't even know.
It's bad. It's bad, but it's good. That's why you tune in, folks. We're moving forward into the women's strawweight division. It's a fight between Luana Pinheiro coming in against Jillian Robertson. Nano, who are you picking in this fight, and tell us why?
Oh man, this is a fun one. My brother. And I was surprised. A couple surprises here. I think one, the odds are pretty heavily favored in our girl Jillian Robertson's favorite. And for some reason, I thought she was a little older fighter, but she's coming in a couple years younger than Luana Pinheiro, at 31 years old, 11-3 record, 2 KOs, 5 submissions. Luana has a lot of momentum, man. She's a great fighter so far since her Dana White Contender Series debut back in 2020. 4-2 record. Just some tough losses back to back, and she really did not get any favors here from the UFC on this one. So I do think Jillian Robinson's going to go out there and really double down on that heavy favorite. She's going to have 3 inches reach, height advantage as well. And she's just a scrappy broad, and I say that with all due respect. 29 years young, 14-8 record, 2 KOs, 9 submissions. Starting to feel like she's the OG here, right? I mean, she's been in the UFC since 2017. That's over 7-8 years now. 11-6 record overall. It's 18 fights in those 7 years. She's extremely active. I mean, if you're fighting twice a year and you're healthy, that's a great thing. She's almost averaging 3 a year. That's closer to the Alex Bejedas, the Israel Adesanyas, the Volkanovskis, the Kevin Hollands, the Khamzats. Well, maybe in his prime. But some of these guys, right, that are very, very active. I mean, that's fantastic to see. And I think all of that, you can make a case. Maybe it's more weather, more tread on the tires, things like that. She's still only 29 years young. She's just getting into her prime, you can say. And we're seeing a lot of fighters go into their 30s, A-okay. So if anything, I think just like in most sports, the more time you get in the octagon, the more experience, the more you get exposed to, frankly, just the better off you are in a quicker time span, frankly. So I do think she's made up for a lot of that time, and I do think Jillian's going to find a way to just really make it difficult for Luana. She can get her off her game. Maybe Luana's going to try to press forward at the beginning, but can she sustain that for 15 minutes when you got Jillian cutting angles, just frustrating you? She's a big girl. She's going to, get those takedown attempts. She's going to really not go anywhere, I think, is the thing. So how is Luana going to respond? I just think Jillian has too many tools in the toolbox here for Luana, who I do think highly of, but unfortunately just a bad run. This is what happens. This sport is very unforgiving. Like our boy Dustin Diamond Poirier mentioned recently on a live broadcast or on one of the shows. It's, hey, you could be on top of the world one week and then or one night, and then 6 months later you can be the one getting picked off the canvas. It's a brutal sport. It's quick, it's unforgiving, and unfortunately, Luana may be on the wrong side of that more often than not. So give me the girl that's finding those paths to the victory, that has more experience. Give me Jillian here. I'm going to get off my soapbox here and let you elaborate as well. So I'll leave a little meat on the bone.
I appreciate it, man. You didn't leave a whole lot of meat on the bone, if I'm being completely honest with you. Great fucking breakdown, Nano. As always, give the man his roses. Now, with that being said, I'm with you, man. I'm not going to talk you off your soapbox. I'm going to tell you to stand proud on that damn thing, because Jillian Robertson definitely comes in with a wealth of experience. And, I mean, she's no slouch, right? She's somebody that is an absolute staple to the strawweight division here. And I don't think that Saturday night's going to be any different for her. I think she's going to present a lot of problems for Luana Pinheiro. I think the fight really comes down to, can Jillian Robertson secure a takedown? Because if she can, she's going to win the fight. And the fact of the matter is, has there ever been a fight that she hasn't secured a takedown in? I can't fucking think of one, to be honest with you. So with that being said, Jillian Robertson goes out there. She gets the takedown early on, saps the energy and pop and spring and muscles out of Luana Pinheiro. You can't even say youth, because Jillian Robertson, though she has just a pedigree of experience here, is actually the younger fighter, right? So I think she's better everywhere. She's slightly taller, has the slight reach advantage, very slight, literal half inch here. But I agree with Sav here. I agree with Nano here. Jillian is a lock, folks. And shout out to the A-Train himself, Adrian Gonzalez. Happy Thursday, my boys. Glad to see you guys back and active. Dude, glad to be back and active. Glad to have this guy back with me, my friend.
You know the vibes. Come on.
All fucking day, baby. All day. Now, with that being said, knowing the vibes, we got a fight to talk about here, man. We got Mr. Gerald Meerschaert, a.k.a. GM3, coming in against Renier de Ridder. This freaking guy, the Dutch Knight. I mean, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this guy, because I definitely have thoughts on this fight, and I might go on a bit of a tangent here. I'm also gonna pour up a shot for A-Train here in the chat.
Let's go. I'll definitely need some LaCroix shots after this, but man, this is an exciting one. This is one that has a little bit of juice behind it. If you know, you know. All right, we got our boy GM3. If you're a casual, you might have just turned on the TV and seen our boy GM3 fighting. He's an absolute staple here in the division. 36 years old, 6 KOs, 23 submissions, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty sure he has the most submission victories in the UFC. I could be wrong on that, or at least in the division for sure. I mean, 23 is substantial, and he has a lot of those in the UFC. Been in here since 2016. That's 8 years now, 12-9 record. But the thing is, when you become an OG like this and you're not a ranked guy, you sort of develop the unfortunate name of being a gatekeeper. And that's kind of where GM3 is at this point. He's not necessarily getting closer to a title shot. It's more so like, hey, he's unfortunately in this situation, the litmus test for the new kid on the block. So you don't recognize this name, Renier de Ridder. That's not reindeer. That is RDR is not somebody that you might be familiar seeing coming from the Netherlands here. The Dutch Knight, 34 years old, 17-2 record. But his pedigree comes from one championship, two division champion there. Couple losses as of recent over the last few years, but came back to avenge one of those losses. Well, not necessarily. But one came out on top, and frankly, just ready to see what he can do in the UFC. So I am curious to see how it translates. I think on paper, he's a little bit bigger for the division at 6'4". Not necessarily the most proficient striker. I think when I hear one championship, or when I usually see guys coming into the UFC, it's usually these kickboxing prodigies like a Carlos Prates, or like a Alex Bejeda, or like a Israel Adesanya. I could go on and on. But then there's other types of fighters. There's the Ben Askrens, there's the Michael Chandlers, and now we have a new school kind of guy as well, in a Renier de Ridder. A mixed martial artist at his core, but I'd say obviously with the 11 submissions, certainly has that kind of a trick up his sleeve. So I do think that's going to neutralize GM3, someone that comes in and has a lot of submissions as well. If this were pure grappling, I think I would almost lean GM3 a little bit more, but this is a mixed martial arts fight. I do think that the kickboxing, the Muay Thai background that Rainier will bring in, he is the Ben favorite at minus 340. I think he'll find a way to get it done. He has a lot of tools, and it's just something we haven't seen yet. I'm curious to hear your breakdown on it, more from a just stylistic perspective. But it's exciting. It's like a new chess piece on the chessboard there, for lack of a better phrase. But I'm excited to watch it. It's up towards the top for a reason. It's the UFC representing against a very decorated one championship fighter, ex-champion, double champion. So curious to hear your breakdown if you think UFC is going to represent well or if you think this guy's legit. What do we got, brother? And hey, this is no filter, so give it to us raw.
This is definitely no filter, and I only give it to you raw, brother. That's the only way I know how. So here's the thing. First and foremost, A-Train, for you, my guy. We appreciate you. Little dribble on the top. And with that being said, I'm with Sav here. I never want to see someone get beat up, but at the same time, I do want GM3 to school this boy. Why? Because it's UFC versus ONE FC. And ONE kind of did this guy dirty, right? They cut him loose, I should say, after he started losing. When he wasn't losing, they really held on to him, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins and 1 draw. Then he gets 2 losses, and they cut him after his next win. So then he went to, he got 3 losses in a row, and they cut him. So then he went to UAE Warriors, and that's where he got his next win over a Magomerad Khazev, whose record is 6-2, and his last 2 were losses. One of those to Renier de Ridder. Now, sorry about that. Didn't want to cough into your faces, folks. Gerald Meerschaert, you said something that was interesting to me. You said that the amount of submissions and submission threats that Renier brings in, aka the Dutch Knight, you thought that they would kind of negate one another, right? So if you think that the submission threats of one another are going to be negated, GM3 wins this fight all day. Because this guy has not really done well against good strikers. And Gerald Meerschaert, not the best striker in the world, but he's also held his own against Andre Petroski. Brian Barberena, by the way, he won that fight by submission. Edmund Shabazian was losing the fight. By the way, won that fight by submission. Bruno Silva, 3rd round, guillotine. He was losing that fight. Won that round by submission. Dustin fucking Stoltzfus, who we were both wrong about just this weekend. Right? He was losing that fight, and then he won that fight. 3rd round. Submission. So, all of this to say, he is essentially a better American Paul Craig, right? Because he goes out there and he gets his ass kicked and then he wins the fight. And I think that this is going to end up being a situation that's similar, except I don't know that Renier is going to be able to actually whoop his ass. And he's saying he really has to go out there and get a finish because the people that are someone get a finish over GM3. They don't get a decision over him. That's dumb as fuck. Bruce Lee said, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but he said something to the tune of, the moment you visualize winning by a right cross, you've lost the fight. Because you've now limited yourself to the one attack when you have an entire arsenal of attacks. This guy is focusing so hard on the finish that he's not going to be thinking about the decision. And GM3 will whoop his ass all fucking 15 minutes if he needs to. On the feet, on the ground. He's just a more tenured fighter. And who he's gone against gives me so much confidence in him. Give me GM3 in this one all day. Give me the fucking dog, baby. Plus 250 for GM3. I'll take that. I'll take that all day on Moneyline.
I like it, brother. I like it. I hope you're right. I do hope you and Sav and everyone else that's leaning GM3 in the UFC, I hope you all are right. I hope we're all right. I'm going with Vegas here. I'm defaulting, and I will happily do a shot next week. Partially because I've missed out so much today or tonight, but I'll keep the receipts. Let's go.
You keep the receipts. I'll bring the beers. Moving into the next fight, we have the co-main event of the evening, folks. We are just steamrolling through this fucking card. And with that being said, it is Ricky Tercios, you know what I'm saying, versus Bernardo Sopage. Nano. This fight is just confusing. It's an interesting fight. It is an interesting fight. Bernardo Sopage, one of the most interesting nicknames I've ever seen in mixed martial arts. He is, and I quote, the Lion King. Whoa. All right. Tell us how you really feel there, Sopage. And then we got Ricky Tercios. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Should be his nickname. I don't think he actually has a nickname. People on Tapology, over 2,000 of them voted, and 76% of them are leaning towards Sopage here. Now, when it comes to my thoughts on this fight, you know, we got to go to who these people have fought before. The only one UFC fight that we have to judge this young man, Bernardo, off of is the flying knee knockout that he took in round number 3 against Vinicius Oliveira. And he wasn't necessarily winning that fight before then, was he? So, as Connor Burke says, I got to get a sound clip of him saying it on the Hawani show, it's tough. Because it is indeed tough. His only wins are outside of the UFC, right? At Fight Club Rush and FCR and Brave CF, which is a notable one. But again, like, it's tough because Ricky Tercios, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? He has actually fought in the UFC. He has actually been on the Ultimate Fighter season 29 and gotten a wins over Dan Argueta, who is still a UFC fighter. We just saw him fight 2 weeks ago. Ludovic Chanalan, Brady Highstand, right? He got a split decision win over. He also fought a fucking Ayman Zahabi. If we've learned anything in the last 7 days, it's that Ayman Zahabi is a son of a bitch and a really good one. He also got the win over Kevin Navidad. And I mean, come on. Sure, he lost to Raul Rosas Jr., but I think he was winning that fight up until he lost. So, look, I am a big Raul Rosas Jr. fan. Don't get me wrong. Love the... But at the same time, give me Ricky Tercios, you know what I'm saying? Feel me? I like the dogs today, bro. And call me fucking crazy. Call me crazy. I might do one little parlay of fucking 50 cents of just all the dogs that I've picked today. As of right now, if I bet 50 cents on all the dogs that I've picked, I'd win $98. So, gonna do a little dumb parlay. Gonna do a don't trail this parlay, and I'll post that online for you guys. If you do bet on it, 50 cents, folks. Be very conservative here. If you've got $20 to blow on it, I'm just telling you right now that as of right now, $20 would turn into $3,951.31. So,
sheesh. Yeah, I was gonna say you could break that up too. You know, go $1 maybe, around $1 for sure. You could spare, and then I think you sprinkle a couple of units, maybe on that, or mix it up. You know, I do think those long ones, they sound so juicy, but it's hard to hit on all of them. If you like 1, 2, maybe 3, or all 5, whatever it is, by all means, go ahead and
there's only 4 right now. We got Cody Stamen at plus 220. We got Karolina Kovalkiewicz at plus 390. Fucking juice. Mm-hmm. We got Gerald Mearshart GM3 at plus 250. Vegas, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's crazy. I know.
Come on, bro. Give me GM3 at juice odds? Come on. Thanks. Thank you.
A lot of the odds are just really lopsided on this one. So it's
weirdly juiced up on this one, bro.
Yeah, pretty juiced.
I truly don't understand it.
Take what you can get. I do like Ricky here at plus 275 as well. And I do think is it Pretty Ricky? I think I see on a Sherdog.
Pretty Ricky.
Pretty Ricky. Mom in the morning. Yeah. Great song.
Oh my God, it's cultured.
Come on, baby. Way you go. But yeah, that
money.
This is gonna be a fun one. He's coming in with a 5-inch reach advantage. But at those odds, I mean, I'm curious to know what they saw in that first bout against Demetrius, like you mentioned, or Vinicius Oliveira.
And Ricky's a weird striker. he's going to utilize that reach in a very odd way. We know this.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe they're just looking at Bernardo's ground game, the Lion King. Maybe he's going to find a way to, well, he has a lot of knockout victories, so I guess the power is always there, but man. Yeah, I like what I've seen. I like what I'm seeing from Pretty Ricky, from the striking, like you mentioned. Very, very talented, very bouncy. Hard to get reads on. I mean, I don't know, man. Bernardo's a heavy favorite, and I just haven't seen a lot of him, right? So, give me Pretty Ricky for shout.
Let's fucking go. Give us Pretty Ricky for show. And with that being said, folks, it's time. It's time for the main event of the evening. We have Neil Magny, the Haitian sensation, one of the better nicknames in all of martial arts. I think it took him a while to come up with it, but man, when it came up, it stuck. And then we have him coming in against the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cigarette himself, Carlos Freitas. I'm just extremely excited about this fight, Nano. I even got us a little bit of cigarette action.
Nice. Love it.
Man. And obviously, the glasses had to do them up, folks. Had to get a little bit crafty for it. This guy's a minus 800 coming in against fucking Neil Magny. I'm with Sav here. Freitas, KO, round 2. Give me Carlos. I think this guy's just an absolute fucking baller. I think he's a monster of a human being. I think he is extremely strong. And not only is he strong, not only is he slick, not only is he fucking fast and pretty at what he does, not only does he smoke cigarettes like as soon as he finishes the fight. Like when he got notified that he won $50,000 last time, he was literally like chain smoking outside the arena. Not only does he just fucking do straight shots of whiskey nonstop, which, I mean, who does that? I know a guy. He also has some of the best fight IQ you'll ever see. Maybe the cigarette and the whiskey. Maybe they slow it down a little bit for him. Either way, no matter what he's doing, the guy's doing something right. And, I mean, I would call his fight IQ borderline nerdy. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a fight nerd. It's funny. Right?
It's very funny, Chama.
I got to get one laugh tonight. Chama. Them fighting nerds are something. That's a fact. I'm a fan. I've been a nerd all my life. So I'm a big fan of these guys. I think this fight is going to be incredible for Carlos Freitas. Biggest test so far in his career. But if we've learned anything in recent days, it's that Neil Magny can still fucking crack. Son, we saw him go out there and ruin the Mike Malott welcome home party. It was tough to watch that fight. Not only did he beat Mike Malott, he made him quit out there, which we never want to see a fighter quit on himself, but he made that happen. And he also does have a 2-inch reach advantage, right? He is good. But again, I think Carlos Freitas is just so fucking smart at what he does. And I think that he will utilize either a karate style stance or like a low hip, like low hands at hip stance to just throw from the hips, right? So that Magny can't see the shots coming. He'll mix it up very, very well from the body to the head, as we've seen him do in the past, and ultimately overwhelm Magny. I could see him hurting Magny with a body shot and then finishing him with shots to the head with a quick barrage. Nano, what are your thoughts as I do these shots?
Chama. I love the breakdown there, brother. Appreciate ya. Salute to everybody here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us nerds, and us fight fans and us violent connoisseurs. Yeah, I mean, the reality is here, this dude from Brazil is a little different. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it a few times now. These bad Brazilians come in, man, and they just sweep us off our feet. I mean, the whole camp, obviously, it speaks volumes. The fighting nerds, everyone's doing their damn thing. But this guy, Carlos, man, and I don't say it often enough. I haven't said it that often in general, but just go watch this guy's highlight tape. Go watch his last few fights. the way he's methodical in there, and it's the IQ, it's that nerd, it's the patience, but it's also the goddamn violence and just the damage he does to his opponents. I mean, it truly is like if you can imagine like the bar of health above his opponents, it's like you'd be able to see the bar visibly go down every time the dude lands. And he makes it look nonchalant, kind of hunches over, maybe hands down at times, has those a lot of the feints because he comes from that kickboxing background. But boy, is he special. He just picks his opponents apart, and I do think that this is going to be the true testament. This will be the come out party, the welcome party, bienvenidos to a Carlos Prates. I mean, the reality is Neil Magny is somebody that has definitely rained on some parades. He's been the bearer of bad news. He's been the hype train conductor here, in the sense that hey, you mentioned a Mike Malott, right? You mentioned maybe a Philip Rowe or Daniel Rodriguez, people that you didn't think he was supposed to beat. He does go out there and beat them. But let's actually look at the people he's lost to, and let's compare a Carlos the Nightmare Prates to some of these guys, right? I think I'll start off with most recently a Michael Morales, who is probably in a similar vein to a Carlos Prates right now. That new generation of prospect, of contender, just big, strong, talented, like young kid that just has all the skills and is tough as nails. If Neil's losing to those guys, and then you look at the Ian Garys and the Gilbert Burns and the Shavkat Rakhmonovs, I mean, okay, all these guys are hovering around for a title right now. So that's the cream of the crop. So I don't want to necessarily throw Carlos into that level just yet, because that's maybe a little unfair. But even a Michael Morales, I mean, again, I think he's probably closer to that ballpark than he is the latter, than a Mike Malott, for example, right? If there's a spectrum there. And again, put on the tape. The Nightmare has not lost since 2019. He's come in here and beat everybody that the UFC's had to offer him, and he's done it in vicious fashion. And what he did to Jing Liang Li, I mean, you want to talk about pitching a no-hitter. You want to talk about having an 80-point game. You want to talk about putting up 50 points in fantasy. You want to talk about literally whooping someone's ass. That motherfucker whooped his ass. I mean, that was like, he debilitated. It was hard to watch. I was like watching it like, oh my God, how do they let this go on for so long? Is it fucking Herb Neen in there? Boy.
You mean Mario Yamasaki?
Is it Mario Yamasaki? Just fucking...
Mario Yamasaki. He's out here like, if you see this before your fight, you know, either you or your opponent may or may not die tonight.
Dude, that was an ass whooping. I mean, turn on the tape, kids. This guy's legit. Give me Carlos Prates, probably by finish. And I think the thing is, he's methodical, so it won't be in that first, maybe not even the second. I think he'll probably end up being in that third or fourth. Oh, I'd love to see it go into a fifth round, see how he looks. I'm hoping Neil can stretch him out and test him as much as he can. But the reality is, I just think Carlos is going to get it done probably in the third, fourth round, somewhere in there. He's going to be patient. Might get taken down. I mean, he has some questions to be answered there. He's been taken down in the past, so has he been working on that? It's not a huge part of Neil's game, but you know he's going to deploy it. But can he avoid the freaking bombs that are coming his way? I don't think so. I do think Carlos can find a way to get done. It's going to be a fun one, y'all. Make sure you tune in. That I do know.
Yeah, I think ultimately the straight shots, and again, the shot selection, like I put it up in the chat, but I'll read it out loud here. Distance management, shot selection, timing, accuracy, all combined with a relaxed demeanor. That is Carlos Prates personified. That is exactly how he fights. He went out there and became the first and only man to finish Li Jingliang, and not only did he do that, but he did it in the second round. I think he's going to do the same exact thing to Neil Magny. Second round KO, I think, is probably going to be the way that this finishes. I'm 100% with Sav here. I think it finishes in the second round, and I think it's Carlos Prates. And by the way, You can get him at plus odds if you bet specifically the second round. Plus 330, Carlos Prates. You can get him plus odds if you bet specific rounds in general. First round is 165. Second round is 330. Third is 650. Fourth is 1,000. Fifth, you get for plus 1,600. I'm going to have to do a little bit of tape study here.
They used to be in the first round then. That's crazy.
The fact that, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, they think it's going to be closer to a first round finish than a fifth round finish. I like it. I like it a lot. Man, even decision. Which,
Well,
I mean,
it's certainly
I think
better than
it's
if
gonna
you're,
be-
I was going to say, if you're going to bet him at all, certainly better than doing just money line, which is like, what is he, a minus
800.
850, a minus 800 favorite? Yeah, you might as well dabble, maybe sprinkle some half a unit here, half a unit there. And if you hit, you hit. That's fun. First or third, honestly, first or fourth. That'd be my.
I mean,
two.
you can do like 50 cents between all those and still net out positive and cover the rest of your spreads, depending on how low of your units are that you're betting here. With those types of odds, you know what I'm saying? Or at least a couple bucks on it.
At
And
least.
again, like, yeah, that's the only way that you can get them to win, like specifically by KO, because by KO even is minus 400. You're not making any money that way, kid.
Yeah. I like it though. I mean, he's definitely gonna win. I'll give you that much. I'm hoping for a big finish. You said he wants to fight again in February already. He's talking about fighting again in Australia. Don't necessarily love when fighters are looking too far ahead, but then again, I do like the confidence. And hey, if this dude's that relaxed to be out there smoking stogies, then by all means, I'll trust what he's doing till the wheels fall off.
Till the wheels fall off, as we say. And with that, I'm going to jump into a little bit of underdogs here, a little live betting. I'm going to look at these odds here. Let's see. I do think the fight goes more than 8 minutes. So I'm going to go higher than 8.5 minutes, which is even pick 'em here on underdogs. There's no plus or minus on it. So we'll take it. Gerald Mearshart, I'm feeling bullish on. I'm feeling bullish on the kid. So I'm going to go ahead and go with higher than a half a finish, which means he's going to get a finish, right? So that is 2.16x multiplier. With those two picks, we're already at 6.48x. So
like
I'm going to do a fifth of a unit on that. Actually, no. I'm going to do fifth of a unit on that. Boom. And then let's keep it rolling. We're gonna keep those players and see if we can add some more people to it. Oh, you know what? Ricky Tercios. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. I'm gonna take him to get the higher spread of strikes here. Boom. That boosts it up already. Here. Yeah, I'm liking this. Let's see. That puts us at a 12.96x. Let's see what else we got. Bernardo, nope. We already did that one. Jillian. Where's the takedown prop? Oh, over 2.5 takedowns? You're bending my arm here. I'm going to do it.
Ooh.
That's
You
money.
should get that in the first round.
Should get that in the first round, brother. I'm taking that. That bolsters it to 23.76. But we're gonna change it up. We don't want it. We don't want every. Or you know what? We're gonna keep them all for one big one, and we'll do a flex entry on this one. So let's see what else we got. I do like Dusko, but I don't like him enough to bet him. But you know who I do like enough to bet? Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
There you go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, Carolina. I like this girl a lot. I think she gets it done. They're giving me a plus 8.5 adjustment on the strike differential. Oh, baby. Please threaten me with a good time, kid. And that brings us up to a 47.52 multiplier here.
Oof.
Let's see. Do we want to add one more? If nothing else really jumps out.
Yeah, it's got to jump out.
It's really got to jump out. Tricoli. I'm not going to do anything on Tricoli. Damon Blackshear. He's not. I don't think he gets a finish over Cody. I'm not confident in that at all.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's no takedown props on Cody, which good on you, underdogs. That would be free money. Chuck Buffalo. He could get a finish.
He could.
He is pretty live for a finish. Finish is a 1.5 multiplier. Fuck it.
Might be a little too rich.
All right. We're doing that, and we're changing it from a standard payout to a flex payout.
There you go.
All right. So if we get 6 correct out of 6, it is 89.1x payout. If we get 5 correct, so if we miss one, we still get almost 10x our money back.
Gee.
And if we get 4 correct, we still break even.
There we go.
Or damn near. We get 0.89 times our money back. So like if you put $1 in, you get 89 cents back.
Come on. I like it.
We're doing it. Because you know, why the fuck not? And then obviously, because I don't want to put everything into that basket, we're just going to go back here. We're going to go ahead and put in the ones that I was more confident on. Just another 2-legger here. So I am going to go Karolina Kovalkiewicz. I mean, the plus 8.5 differential that they're giving me, come on. I have to. The fact that I'm confident in her, I just have to. And then the 2.5 takedowns for Jillian Robertson. Give me that. Yeah, I'm going to hit that 2-legger. That's at a 3.3x multiplier. Feeling fairly confident in that one. I'm going to go ahead and drop a unit on that one. And we will ride with it.
I like it.
Those are my 3 bets on underdog. Nano, I don't know if you jumped back in and or throwing anything down, but do you have any bets? Do you have any parlays? Anything you're really excited about before we call it a show?
Oh man, I mean, you mentioned some good ones there. I'm definitely riding with you on those. But I do like Ricky Turcios for show. Who's the one I have here? I mean, Julian Roberts, like you mentioned. I mean, I think that's a live one. Not that they're locked, nothing's a guarantee, but certainly be rooting for. Chuck Buffalo as well. But some of the odds are a bit tough, so maybe I'd parlay those 3 or 4 together. Gonna be a fun one though. Cody Stamen probably be the underdog. I'm rooting for as well. Maybe sprinkle a little bit there as well. Let's go, baby. It's gonna be a fun night. Can't wait to break it down.
Fucking love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, folks, we say again here from the show, we are rocking with Carlos Prates on the Fighting Arts. And look, with that being said, we really appreciate each and every one of you for being here. As Nano said so eloquently, you could be anywhere in the world right now, and you chose to be right here on this Thirsty Thursday. So we appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you. If you're not already, subscribe to the YouTube. As I said before, it really, really helps if you are. Please jump on over to the YouTube at MMAnomaly. Like, comment, subscribe, and then after the show wraps up, comment. Let us know which fight you're most excited about and what your favorite part of the show was tonight. And above all else, folks, the thing that we really, 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 really preach and hope you do is that you keep on going and you keep on growing. We fucking love it.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.